I'm Liz.
I'm Robbie. Welcome back to our channel, Bookworm Couple. Today is going to be another TBR and wrap-up video for the month. I can't believe it's already time again. It feels like February kind of
February is tiny though.
February,
though it was leap year, so we had one more day.
So
didn't
we're...
read as much as I wanted to. In the extra day. In the extra day. You know, you had an extra
month.
I know. Well, I feel like the only time was last month. I read so many.
You read quite a bit.
I read so many books.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So the first book that we talked about this month was Queen of Shadows, the fourth book in the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. I liked this one more than Fire.
You're gonna say a lot, and you can't say a lot.
Well, I did like it more. I just really did. It's not that I didn't like this book. I really didn't like Air of Fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gave it a 4. I think that it was a step in the right direction, though I did have some problems with it overall. But yeah, it made me once again kind of like excited to see where we're gonna go with this series, which I feel like has happened a lot and has never really gotten like to the point where I was like, oh my god, this was nonstop amazing.
Excitement.
Yeah.
It's not always nonstop amazing. I don't know that I've read it nonstop. Well, maybe I have.
No. Anyway, the next we read after that was The Demigod Files.
Yeah, I loved this.
Which was a collection of short stories. We didn't really rate this, but we kind of ranked the different short stories. I really enjoyed it.
Reading this.
Yeah,
like, so much
loved
fun.
it. Yeah, I thought it was.
It obviously wasn't like a hefty read or like
a sit down.
It was truly just kind of like fun.
Yeah, I was really pleasantly surprised. I didn't really know what to expect going in.
Did you read it the first time that you went through?
No, I've never read it before.
So...
Yeah, it was my first time reading those short stories, and I had a blast with it. I thought it was so fun.
Yeah, they're cute.
All 3 of them were very good. Yeah, it was
and all
nice
very different, which was nice
and all very
too.
different, which was great. And I think that Rick Riordan's writing style really lends itself to those short stories as well. Or at least that's how I felt when I was reading it.
I agree with you. And then I read Fires of Heaven, which was the 5th book.
Yes, the 5th
book
book
in
the
the
Time series. Yeah, you're doing amazing.
You know what's great? Hilarious also, actually. Not great. You know what's hilarious is the fact that I thought I was halfway through the series. No, I'm not.
Not even close.
No, I'm not. I mean, I'm close. I'm 2 books away from
close is a
halfway
relative
through
term.
the series.
If you read the prequel, then it's 15.
We're not talking about that yet.
Okay.
That prequel doesn't exist yet. But yeah, I enjoyed this one. I think this is my thing with the Wheel of Time books that I've noticed about myself is I need to rate them like after I've read them, like after it simmers for like a week. Because I find them pretty hard to comprehend for myself, so I find myself getting kind of frustrated, not necessarily with books, but with myself, and so then I will rate them with that feeling rather than of like, oh yeah, looking back, like this was a really great book. Because I gave it a 3.5, but now I'm kind of like, I think it was kind of a 4.
Okay, well
that's fine.
We're human beings, we're changeable, things evolve and grow.
Yeah, I realize I need to let those simmer a little bit because they are so not fast-paced like the other books I read. They're not really like...
It's so funny, like, talking to you about...
What, are you saying it's fast-paced?
No.
Oh.
No, it's so funny, like, talking to you about how, like, you feel strongly about the rating now because there's a bit in the last video that I just edited where you're like, I don't know, I don't like rating stuff.
I get so stressed out about ratings. I get so stressed. Well, I'm saying, like, that's...
it's great that you feel confident about it now.
I'm an emotional rater, which I don't know... I think rater. I just decided to use a hard T because why not? You know, throw it out there. I'm very emotional when I read as well, and so I think like in that moment I freak out because I'm like in that moment I was frustrated. It felt like it took me a long time. Felt like parts of it lagged right then, and so I didn't want to rate it because I hadn't let it sit yet. You know, I gotta like let it simmer and then come back at it and look at it and realizing after having read now 5 Wheel of Time books. Look at that, what an accomplishment.
Yeah.
That I really enjoy them. But they are hard.
Yes.
They're work. It's work to read them.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, but I'm glad I am reading them. So anyways, that's long story long about that 5th book of the Wheel of Time.
We also released a few other videos. We continued talking about the Percy Jackson and the Olympians TV series, so we released our thoughts on the last episode, as well as an additional episode that was kind of just a season wrap-up. So if you're interested in seeing those, there is a link to the playlist above and below in the description. And Liz also released one video of her own as well.
I did a vlog-style video, which was the first one for us. I went to the midnight release of House of Flame and Shadow, the latest Sarah J. Maas book in the Crescent City series. Brought you guys along with that. That one's also linked here. And so go watch it. If you like more vlog style videos, let us know. We can go to the bookstore. You can come read with us. I do that on my own channel as well. So if you want more of that, let us know because I enjoyed doing it. And I hope you guys enjoyed coming along with us because that was a really, really fun night.
Us not being me, I was not there.
Us, my friend and I. Robbie was not there. Robbie has not gotten to Crescent City yet. We'll get him there eventually.
And we continued with our micro reviews as well. You can find those over on our shorts. And speaking of, did you get to read any books on your own this month?
I only read one other book this month.
This month?
I only read one other book this month, which was House of Flame and Shadow. It kind of took over my life for a few days, which, as it should be, it was my most anticipated read of the year, the past 2 years since the last one came out. Honestly, I've been waiting for this. And I had a grand old time reading it. I had so much fun. I'm going to be doing a separate video of my own review of that, and we'll chat about it, but I have to do it when Robbie's not here, because there's so many spoilers. So if you are a Sarah J. Maas fan and want to chat with me about that, look out for that video. But I loved it. Spoiler alert. I guess that's a spoiler.
I mean, it's a good
my emotions, but also I went in, if you came to the midnight release party with me, you realize I was very excited, so.
Got it. Okay.
Anyways, that's the only other book I read this month. What about you? So many.
No, not so many. It was slower than last month, I think. Hold on, I actually have not counted.
February?
Yeah, so it was not like the fastest month I've ever had, but a decent amount. I think I read... One of these is kind of cheating, because I finished it on like the first or second of the month.
Nah, I've been there, yeah.
But it happens.
It's okay,
so I read 5 novels and 2 graphic novels, I guess.
Oh, cute.
They are. I kind of forgot about them until literally just now.
Until you look at your
and I was like, oh yeah, I read the first 2 books in the Amulet series, which I guess I'll talk about at the end. But so the first one I finished, it was Kingdoms of Death, which is the 4th book in the Sun Eater series by Christopher Rocchio. I've been talking about them a lot over the past few months, and this is the one I finished on like the 2nd day of the month. This book is awesome, but rough. It's really dark. A lot of really bad things and sad things happen to our main character, as well as their friends. It continues the story of Hadrian Marlowe, and up until now, it kind of feels like the world has been reacting to him, and he's kind of this like unstoppable force. And this book, he's very stoppable, I guess we'll say.
He's stoppable.
He's very stoppable. Yeah, it's kind of like a deconstruction of the character. It's very interesting. I wasn't really sure what to expect. I'd heard that it was brutal, but I wasn't anticipating liking it as much as I did. I really enjoyed it. The next book I read right after that was Ashes of Man, which is the 5th book in the Sun Eater series, and I still really liked this book, but it was the first one I didn't give a 5 to, since I think the first book in the series. And that's because, similar to the first book in the series, it took a long time to find itself, I thought. And it also taught me that I need to stop watching interviews, I think, with authors of series that I'm reading. I have been watching an interview with Christopher Rocchio where he was talking about this book, and I had known that Kingdoms of Death and Ashes of Man, books 4 and 5, were originally supposed to be just one book. And they got split by the publisher. And
how many pages were they separately?
I have no idea. Probably like 500 to 800 each.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's a very long book. I was gonna say.
But it probably been like 1,000 pages or less, which is
worth it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, there's publishing
I'm not a
reasons
publisher,
behind that. Yeah.
I'm a reader.
So anyway, so he had to split. So Rocchio had to split the books, and you can't tell it all in Kingdoms of Death, in my opinion, and. You really can in Ashes of Man, again, in my opinion. Little spoiler going forward, if you're interested in reading these books and want to go in with kind of a, fresh mind, without any sort of look at the inner workings, maybe skip the next few seconds. But what ended up happening was, to make the change, Christopher Rocchio split his book and put one chapter essentially at the end of Kingdoms of Death to kind of wrap it up like a normal book, which is why Kingdoms of Death, in my mind, reads like just a regular book, because that's exactly what it is. Mm-hmm. However, he had to rewrite the entire first half of Ashes of Man, because he had already written the back half of it, and that was supposed to be the end of Kingdoms of Death, and now he had to create a first half of a book. And I feel like you can tell, and maybe I wouldn't have been able to tell as much if I didn't know that going into the book, but it did.
Been like, what? Yeah.
And so it was rough. It was still great. The last third of the book was nonstop. I think I read the entire last quarter in a single sitting, which is insane because that's a few hundred pages.
Wow,
but it was it was awesome, and I'm really excited for the next book, which comes out actually, it might have come out this month. It either comes out in March or April, I forget which.
That's exciting.
Yeah, I still have a collection of short stories and a novella to read before then, but I am very excited to get to them. I took a little break after that because I had read those back to back, and those books are kind of heavy. As much as I do love them, they are a bit heavy. And so I went into Bookshops and Bone Dust, which my wonderful and loving wife got for me for Christmas, I believe.
I did for Christmas.
One of those two.
We got so many books for Christmas.
We got so many books
on
for Christmas.
accident for each other.
I had not read Legends and Lattes, which is the, I guess...
First published
the first published book in the series, whereas Bookshops and Bone Dust, also by Travis Baldree, is the prequel. I looked up online, kind of seemed like most people were like, you're fine, it doesn't really matter about spoilers, except for like maybe don't read the epilogue, so I didn't read the epilogue. But otherwise I read the book, and I really, really liked it. I gave it 4 stars, I believe, maybe 3.5. It was fun. It is my first experience with like cozy fantasy. If you don't know anything about it, Bookshops and Bone Dust follows an orc, a female orc who is part of a mercenary troop but then gets injured and has to be left in a seaside town alone to recuperate while her mercenary troop goes off and finishes their job.
It's very Dungeons and Dragons coded,
it is,
if
exactly,
you're a D&D fan. But it's cozy.
Yes, it's
I haven't read
very
it yet.
cozy.
I'm saying this just like for off of facts.
Yeah, and so she's at this seaside town, she makes some friends, and she makes friends with like a tiny mouse, anthropomorphic mouse creature, like Redwall or something, and who owns a bookshop. And they start like making that's kind of run down and like possibly going out of business. And so she starts working at and helping out at the bookshop. There's some romance.
It sounds like a Hallmark movie.
It is kind of, yes.
In the D&D world.
Yes, pretty much. That's a really great.
Probably everything I've ever wanted.
It's really cute, and I had a really nice time, and it was a very nice palate cleanser. I will eventually read Legends and Lattes, which follows the same character as she opens a coffee shop, from what I understand. Or maybe she just works at one. I don't know.
The coffee shop is in the bookshop?
I think she left the town, but I don't know. I don't know.
We'll see. I haven't read either of them.
I actually have no idea.
Like I know.
Yeah, so I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
After that, I read a book that my friend was pestering me to read. It's not a fantasy book. It's just fiction. It's called Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. I've seen a lot of people talk about that book.
Gabrielle Zevin. Yeah, so Tomorrow, Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. I didn't make a micro review because this channel is about fantasy and sci-fi books. I liked it a lot. I think I gave it a 4, 4.5. 4.5. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. There were a few problems I had with like some of the characters' motivations, but overall I couldn't put this book down. It was really great. It's about there's a few POV characters, but essentially it's about some friends, I guess I'll say, who make a video game together.
Fun.
And start their own video game company.
Sounds
and
cute.
Just kind of how their relationship works. And it's kind of about like missed connections and missed opportunities and the relationships we have with people. And it's very good, and there's going to be an adaptation. And so if you're looking for some sort of, not fantasy book to read, but still fiction, something, and you're interested in video games and stuff, this will be very, very good for you. And if you like very well-written characters that you maybe will not like, but still quite well-written and good character interactions, then this will be a great book for you. And then the last full-length book I read was, I kind of went out of left field. I was going to continue on with my Sun Eater series, but then I kind of realized that like the next book is coming out so soon, and then I have no idea how long it's going to be until the last book in the series comes out, and it made me kind of want to slow down and maybe like drag out my experience with it a little bit longer, so I can hold on to more of those memories before the last book comes in, because rereading this whole series would be quite a task.
Oh my gosh.
Especially if the next book comes out, I hope, like next year, maybe? Anyway, I started the Live Ship Trader trilogy by Robin Hobb with the first book, Ship of Magic.
You love Robin Hobb.
I love Robin Hobb, yes. I gave this book a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. I had a weird experience with it simply because I had come from Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, which was, in my opinion, very fast-paced, and I like blew through it in a day or two, whereas Robin Hobb is much more slow. She's much slower pacing. And there were also plot lines and characters that I like didn't care about as much as others. Like I found certain characters' stories in this book that I loved, and certain characters that I wasn't as sold on. So it did take me a little while to get through parts of the book, which is why I didn't give it a 5. But overall, the way that the book ended and all the different plot lines have converged, a lot of them were in ways that I never really would have suspected, so I cannot wait to see where she goes with this trilogy. I also had sky-high expectations when I went into this, because I had just, a little while ago finished the Farseer trilogy, and it was my first time reading Robin Hobb.
And you loved it.
And I loved it very, very much, and I heard that Live Show Traders was like one of the best things she's ever written, so
high expectations.
So going in with like almost impossible to meet expectations. Mm-hmm. So I am really excited to jump into the next book. If you don't know what it's about, Robin Hobb returns to the realm of the Elderlings, which is her big 16-book, I think, series. This is the second trilogy.
Question. Realm of the Elderlings is a realm?
I don't think the realm of the I don't remember what the name of the world is, but the realm of the Elderlings is not the world. It's
but
the
that's the name of the series. Just curious, because I was like, this sounds cool.
Someone I'm sure will be able to correct me in the comments. But yeah, so it does not follow Fitzchivalry Farseer in this one. It follows. It's a multi-POV story, actually, but many of the main characters are in a family called the Vestrits, and they are a trader family in a place called Bingtown.
Bingtown?
Yes, and the big conceit here is that, live ship traders are traders who have a ship of magic, hence the title, that comes alive after a certain period of time. It's made from a special type of wood, and these are very coveted ships. And so, it follows certain characters in that family as well as some unrelated characters as well. In areas around that, there's piracy, there's trading, there are some really terrible characters that I hate so much, but I'm really interested to see where they go. Okay. And there's a ton of political stuff, which is really interesting, like town and city politics within the trader families. It's all very, very interesting. So I'm very, very excited to see where the next book goes. And then I just literally remembered as we were pressing record, I didn't put it in my Goodreads or anything like that, and I didn't rate them, but I randomly picked up the first 2 books in the Amulet series, which is a graphic novel, I guess technically. It's for younger readers, by Kazu Kibuishi, and I loved it. It's really good. The art, I love the art. I think it's beautiful. I believe that they also did the art as well as wrote it. But I will eventually get back to finishing it. I'm not sure when, but absolutely will. I think there's 6 or 9 books in the series or something. Okay. Anyway, it was great. It was a lot of fun, really creative world, and I can't wait to see what it is. If you have kids or anything like that who are looking for like fantasy comics or anything like that, absolutely check out Amulet. It's gorgeous and it's wonderful.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah, it's very good. Mm-hmm. So that's everything that we read this month. This video is going to be longer than usual. I think I might have talked too much. But anyway, what are we going to be talking about in this coming month? I guess the first video we're going to do is the next book in the Throne of Glass series, which is Empire of Storms.
Robbie is not doing the tandem read, everyone.
I'm not doing the tandem read. But I'm in the middle of Empire of Storms right now, so we'll have that video up next week. And then after that, I guess we're going to be finishing Percy Jackson.
Yeah, that's great. I literally had that thought like a week ago, and I was like, oh my god, last book.
Yeah, we're going to be finishing the Percy Jackson series. And then we're going to have to decide what we want to read next. Yeah. I think
we'll stay within the verse.
The Jordan verse and just go to I think the Heroes of Olympus is the next series, so we'll probably jump right into that. Yeah, and then I'll
be finishing Lord of Chaos.
Absolutely.
I'm obsessed with the title of this one. Mm-hmm. It feels so right.
Yes. And and at some point you're going to have your video out for...
Yeah, and I'll be putting up a video for House of Flame and Shadow. I'll probably have that up sometime in the beginning half of this month. So great. I wanted to give people time to read it.
That's fair.
It's crazy, but yeah. I'll have that up soon, and I'm excited to talk to you guys about it because I can't talk to him about it. So I gotta talk to somebody about it. It's okay. We'll get there.
We'll get there. And do you have any books that you're gonna try and read on your own that you're excited about this month?
Yeah, I went through a Bridgerton phase this month. Not really sure why. No, I am sure why, because I saw some previews for the next season, and I absolutely love these first 2 seasons. I've watched them probably 3 or 4 times, and I just rewatched them again. So I was inspired to read the series. I read the first one last year, and so I picked it up at the second. I didn't do a reread of the first one, so I have the second in my hands currently, so I'm hoping to read the 2 or 3 books in that Bridgerton series. I've never read them. This is the first read through for me. I love the show, the vibes of the show, and I enjoyed the first one. So I'm intrigued to dig into that series more because I'm obsessed with it. And I really especially want to read at least the third one before the series comes out because it will be season 3.
Sure.
I believe it is true to the series that this is book 3, but it might be book 4. Anyways, would like to read that prior to the series coming out, but I'm just going to read them until I'm done with the series. That's the goal currently.
Very good.
Feels very springy.
Yeah. Yeah, that feels right.
Yeah.
Cool.
What about you, Abby?
I am going to, let me see, what am I going to read this month? I have a few things I'd like to get to. I'd like to get back into the Sun Eater world and read probably both the Tales of the Sun Eater Volume 3, which is the third collection of short stories, as well as the next novella, which is called The Dregs of Empire, I believe, which is the first one that the author has said is basically required reading from in between Ashes of Man, which is book 5, and Disquiet Gods, which is book 6, which is coming out in April
sometime.
I know I actually said it in an earlier TBR and wrap up monthly wrap up video, so I'm sorry. But anyway, so I'll probably read one or both of those. I think I'll get to at least the second book in the Live Ship Traders trilogy as well, and then assuming I read all of those, I'm not sure. I mean, I'll probably just continue with Live Ship Traders. Maybe I'll grab Legends and Lattes. Who knows? But yeah, so those 3 are the definite ones that I'm trying to aim for this month, and then anything else will just be a nice little bonus.
We love bonuses.
Bonuses, yeah. All right, well, anything else for our wrap-up TBR?
No.
All right, great. Well, that's everything that we have read this month, everything we're looking forward to reading next month, or, well, since I guess it's going to be March by the time this video comes out, this month as well. So what have you read this month? Have you read any of the books that we read? Do you like them? Do you not? What videos are you most excited for that we're going to have out in this coming month? Let us know in the comments down below. Like and subscribe if you want to see any more of our videos. Thank you all so much for watching, and
we'll see you on our next adventure.